you just got a chance to read over the job description for what it means to be a community leader, but let me expound on that just a little bit. So here's what we believe that community leaders are going to do. So community leaders are committed to sitting in the same section. That means when you show up every week, sit in the same section. Now, chances are that when you come to CCW on a Sunday morning, you probably gravitate towards the same section anyway. I know people who have been sitting in the same place for years, and we want to tap into that. So you're going to continue sitting in the section that you always sit in, but does that mean you're going to be there every single week? The chances are no. But when you are here, we ask that you continue to sit in that same section. You miss a week? Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. It's okay. But community leaders are committed to sitting in the same section. The second thing was community leaders are recognizable. Doesn't mean you're a celebrity, doesn't mean you're well known, it doesn't mean that everybody here knows you or anything like that. It just means that on a Sunday morning, people are going to be able, in that section, they're going to be able to tell who the community leader is. Part of that is being intentional, getting out there and getting to know them and greeting people and getting to know their names. But the other way that we're going to deal with this is we actually have these little flag banners that clip onto the seats. And we're going to ask that our community leaders pick up one of those flags from the Next Step station every single week, and that they clip it on the seat that they're at, just so people around them, people in their section know, oh, that's the community leader for this section. Now, there's no assigned seating. That means there's not like a specific seat in that section you need to sit in every single week. But I would recommend that as a community leader, you sit near the outside on one of the edges. And the reason for that is it just makes you more approachable and available. If somebody needs to pray, if somebody needs to ask a question, you're there, not in the middle of the row, So that's the second thing. Third thing is this: community leaders own the relational connection in their section. They get to know those who are in that micro community, right? Like, this is the whole purpose. If we divide the church up into sections and then we aren't intentional about relationships, well, all we've done is lose some seats, right? So as a community leader, we would be asking you to be the front line in terms of connection in that section that you're in. Each section is going to have between 40 to 50-ish seats. And that means you'll have to get to know some people. Now, we know not all of our seats are full every Sunday, but chances are a lot of the same people sit in those same seats because, once again, human nature, right? But you'll be intentional about getting to know their names, about trying to greet the same people week after week. And especially when there's new people that come in, actually going out of your way to make sure that by the end of service, you've gotten to get to know them a little bit as well. Community leaders are available to provide spiritual guidance. Now, one of the trends that we've seen is that people are a lot more reluctant to actually come up front during response times. That means at the end of a sermon, when we say, hey, if you want to talk to our prayer team, if you need to talk about Jesus Christ and what it means to know him, you can come up here and someone's available. People don't like coming up front, So we want to provide other ways that people can connect to a spiritual guide, and we think that can be done through community leaders. So if you're a community leader and you've got your little flag there, you'll know, hey, at the end of service, instead of it just being like the prayer team up front, it will also be, we'll say, hey, go and talk to your community leader. And you need to be available to pray with people, to love on them, to maybe talk about some tough stuff if that comes up. Community leaders update the pastoral team on key issues. So weekly, you'll get an email from church teams. If you ever led one of our groups here or ministries here, you know exactly what this looks like. And normally it's a checklist. But what this email is actually for is it's not so much a checklist as It's a spot for you to drop prayer requests. It's a spot for you to drop, hey man, like here's an issue that I didn't know how to deal with. Could you please answer this? It's a spot to say, hey, I haven't seen this person for a while. We want to check up on our people who are MIAs, right? So just weekly giving us a quick update to say, hey, here's what's going on in the micro community that I'm a part of. Community leaders move their sections towards meaningful discipleship. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to be discipling 50 people. I hope that you are discipling, because discipleship is what we're about, right? Matthew 28, 18 through 20. We're going to make Jesus famous by making disciples. That's what we do. But what it does mean is that when people come up to you and they say, hey, I need to be in prayer, or I need to get, I need some deeper relationships, or I need to be spending some time with someone who can point me in the right direction, it means that you're going to help connect them. And to be honest, we already have a space for that. It's the Next Step Station. So your job would be just to make sure that conversation moves from the worship center to the Next Step Station. Sometimes it might mean that you choose to connect with someone beyond the doors. Like if someone comes up to you with a question and you're like, oh, okay, I can navigate this, and invite them over, have lunch with them, or meet them out for coffee. But either way, community leaders, they're committed to making sure that discipleship is happening. Next thing is this: community leaders start the party. Now, this is a really big thing. And this might be a bit intimidating to some of you who are considering becoming community leaders. We believe that Sunday morning is part of the relational experience, but if we really want to get to know one another, we've got to leave this space, right? And in the past, CCW has been at a place where we've been able to offer like block parties or picnics at the park or different events like this. But trying to get a space where 400, 500 people can show up these days, pretty tough, right? So this is where community leaders come in. Once or twice a year, more if you're a party person, is creating an opportunity for those parties to happen. And that means that maybe if you really love hosting people, maybe you'll do this right at your house, or maybe you'll have a picnic at the park, or maybe you'll meet up at the beach and have a potluck. I don't know, that you get to be creative about this, get other people in your community, in your micro community involved in it, and have this time where you're inviting all the people in that space to go and do something together, to be real people beyond Sunday morning. And finally, community leaders multiply. I can't stress this enough. I already talked about discipleship, but one of the things that we always want to challenge people on is replace yourself. As a community leader, you won't always be available. And there might come a day when God leads you away from this church. And what we want to see happen in these spaces is for you to reach in and find people who love Jesus and who love others and who are ready to take that next step. You're able to pull them into being co-leaders and to helping lead these micro communities with you. So community leaders are committed to multiplication. That's the job description. And I encourage you to review that and to pray over that and consider whether this is something that God would have you do with your time. Go ahead and do that right now. And then I've got one more short video for you.